So whilst we're talking about Hamilton and Mercedes and Red Bull, I want to talk about team orders
Okay.
and different strategies within the team. So not necessarily team orders, but if your two cars are on different strategies and Hamilton's coming through on much newer tyres and Bottas has been asked to maybe not hold him up too much, maybe he should have moved out the way. So from what I remember, and I just want to get your views on this, Hamilton's a couple of seconds, probably 2 seconds away from Bottas on the pit straight, and then it's closing up quite rapidly. We're talking like a second a lap. So by sector one, he's within half a second of Bottas, and Bottas just didn't move until did he move out the way, or did Hamilton have to commit to an actual on-track overtake against his teammate? What's your views on this whole situation? So Hamilton's obviously coming through fast. Bottas is struggling with tyre pace. Has already been asked to speed up, and has been told that Hamilton's coming through for the race win, which may be a little bit demoralising for old Bottas there, because he's been told to speed up and that his teammate behind him is coming through to win the race. And at one point, he was 10 seconds ahead of Hamilton. So I can imagine Bottas was feeling a little bit demoralised, but didn't move out the way.
It was somewhere in the middle, it looked like to me. Like, yeah, he certainly didn't just move out of the way, but it wasn't quite a full-on overtake, but certainly he didn't make it as easy as he could have been. I can kind of see Bottas's point of view, even though clearly what he was told over the radio was true. You know, he was told Lewis is fighting for the win, even though this was, he was a few seconds back at this point. It's like, look, he's fighting for the win and you're not, so just get out of the way. You can understand why any racing driver hear that and be like, well, yeah, we'll see about that kind of thing. The overtake was inevitable. Bottas made it a little bit harder than it needed to. I thought it certainly made it a little bit more dramatic that he made it a bit of a half and half. It's hard to say whether or not he really did make him commit to a full-on overtake. But Bottas's annoyance there is understandable. But if you want to avoid that, Valtteri, you've got to go a hell of a lot faster.
It was certainly interesting to say the least, and it made it a little bit more spicy towards the end of the race. I thought, oh, blimey, Bottas has actually done a hold up Hamilton here. There was plenty of opportunities beforehand. He got that second DRS straight just before Hamilton got through, where it would have been really easy to let Hamilton come through, and then Bottas could have kept behind Hamilton and got the DRS onto the first DRS. But no, he kind of left it open into turn 9 or 10. I can't remember which one it is, but didn't leave it open. So it was a little bit more of a struggle. I'm not sure we'll ever know, but it was definitely signs of Bottas wanting to get his race over and done with. He wants his race to be a priority. So why should he be letting his teammate through? And don't get me wrong, I love it. I think it's fantastic, but I want to see Bottas fighting at the start. Like, Hamilton's just boxed twice, and he's then caught up 10 seconds to Bottas in the matter of 6 or 7 laps for the race win. It shouldn't be happening. I mean, I don't want to go into it too much because we'll just be rinsing and repeating what I said last week about Bottas and how he needs to step it up. But he does need to step it up, because at the moment he's that second driver. He's that B-spec driver in that A-class Mercedes.
Talking of team orders, we had a team order going on at McLaren as well. Lap 50, Ricciardo had pitted for softs a few laps prior. He was coming up on Norris. Clearly, Ricciardo had the speed with the fresher tyres. But I thought it was a bit of an awkward swap over, because obviously Ricciardo was going to be in a position to try and chase Ocon ahead.
At the time, yeah, Ocon.
Who was in P6, I think. I think this was a fight for P6 at the time. And yeah, it was just a really awkward swap over. I really wish they'd done it in a better place, because in doing so, Norris letting Ricciardo go by allowed Sainz to get very close for the end of the lap. And that led to Sainz being able to much easily overtake Norris a lap later. I feel like there must have been a better place to allow that swap to happen without him losing so much time, because he slowed down in such a place where Sainz didn't need to. And it was right near the end of the lap. Obviously, he ended up getting DRS as a result. Slightly awkward changeover there between the two McLaren drivers. Obviously, they had to get it done quickly, but and Norris also facing that incoming Ferrari had got a black and white flag for weaving across the track to avoid the slipstream, which is fair enough, really, because it was a late. Actually, it wasn't the weaving. It was Ricciardo that got told off for weaving. He did a bit of a late jink, didn't he? As Sainz was
against Ocon,
approaching him, he
wasn't
did a
it?
bit of
Or was
a
it Sainz? Yeah.
did a bit of a that, and
Very late.
fair enough. Like you shouldn't really be doing that at those kind of speeds.
What I found interesting with that with the switch of the two McLaren drivers is that Lando was within 0.4 of Ocon at the time they switched, and that's really close. They're going through sector 2, and he's 0.4. So actually, could have been a move going into turn 9 or 10, or could have been a move going down the back straight. But they decided to switch, like you said, in a really unconventional place where actually once Ricciardo had got ahead and Norris had fallen back in, behind Ricciardo was 1.8 seconds behind Ocon. I thought, well, they've lost so much time there. It was just a really inconsiderate way to switch two drivers. There must, like you said, there must have been a better place to do so. And whilst we're talking about McLaren, it's good to see that their pit stops are getting a little bit more slick. They weren't in the 3+, 4+ seconds we've experienced this year so far. They're getting a little bit better.
We got 2.6 for Norris on lap 24. That's more like an actual pit stop as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to see that they're not chucking away seconds in the pit stops. I mean, a lot of drivers this week had problems in their pit stops with their tyres not coming out in time, or tyres not being inflated.